Okay, in this problem we're going to solve for the variable x, and we have the equation 5 multiplied by the quantity 2x minus 10. All of that's being divided by 2, plus 16 equals 19. So, a few things here that the first thing that I notice is that, okay, the only thing that's in there is a variable of x, and it's to the first power. And there's only a single term involving x, and it's the first term. And again, terms are things separated by pluses and minuses. So this big fraction, that to me is all one big term. The 16 is another term, and the 19 is another term. So to me, I kind of see like three distinct objects that I can sort of work with. So my goal, again, eventually is way down at the bottom. I'm going to do a lot of steps. I want to get 1x all by itself. Okay, so to do that, my reasoning is, well, let's try to just start getting rid of things on the left side. So I see this positive 16. The first thing I'm going to do is, well, I can move that over by subtracting 16 from both sides of the equation. So I would be left with 5 multiplied by 2x minus 10 all over 2. Positive 16 minus 16, well, that's just 0. And then we have 19 minus 16. That's going to leave me with positive 3. Okay, so I've done one thing here. Now, this fraction, I would like to get rid of this fraction as well. So notice this whole fraction is I've got a fraction where the denominator is 2. So I'm dividing the left side by 2. To sort of undo that, the opposite of division is multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So in this case, you can think about 2 as being, well, 2 over 1. The 2's would cancel. Again, that's the whole reason why we did that. And we would be left with 5 times the quantity 2x minus 10 equals 6. Now, there's certainly a couple different things we could do at this point. If you wanted to, you could get rid of the 5 by dividing both sides by 5. Now, again, that's perfectly legal, and that to me would be it would be a useful step. To me, though, if I divide both sides by 5, I'm going to make a fraction on the right side up here. I'm going to make a 6 over 5. Then I've got to start combining fractions, and I don't know. I would rather work with whole numbers. So instead of instead of dividing both sides by 5, I'm going to use the distributive property, and I'm going to multiply both of these terms inside the parentheses by positive 5. So 5 times 2x, that's going to give me 10x. 5 times negative 10, that's going to be negative 50. Our 6 is still just hanging out over there. Again, I'm trying to get x all by itself. I have this negative 50. Well, I can add 50 to both sides. So now I'm left with 10x equals 6 plus 50. That's going to be 56. Almost there. So since I'm multiplying by 10, now I'm going to divide both sides by 10. Well, 10 divided by 10, that's just 1x. We have 56 over 10. Well, typically you're going to see the answers reduced. So, I started thinking, I usually don't think about greatest common factors. If I see that both numbers are even, I just divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. And maybe I'll have to do some more work after that, but to me that's a first step. So 56 divided by 2, I believe that gives me 28. 10 divided by 2, that'll be 5. So we're just reducing the fraction. Well, I think 28 over 5, that's definitely in lowest terms. The only whole numbers that will go into 5 are 1 and 5, and 5 doesn't go into 28 evenly. So we would say this is our solution in lowest terms. So x equals 28 over 5 will be a solution to our equation. If you want to, you can always even go back and check, right? You could go back to that very original equation and plug in 28 over 5 and make sure it gives you the right answer. So again, to me on a test, I was the person that if I got done early, I would go back and start checking things like this. Invariably, I would, catch a mistake or two. So, but again, if you feel pretty comfortable and confident, again, on the exam, I would just keep going, if I felt good up to here. I wouldn't check it until I absolutely had time. So, all right, I hope this helps, and I hope it makes some sense.